Good afternoon, everyone. You're very welcome for joining this information session for the Postgraduate Diploma in Engineering for Climate Action here in Trinity College. My name is John Gallagher. I'm an assistant professor in the School of Engineering. I'm specifically in the Department of Civil Structural Environmental Engineering. I've been in Trinity for more than 5 years in this role, but I'm a past researcher from the university. And this program, I am the course director. My colleague, Professor Julie Clark, is the course coordinator. She's not here today, but she also is a key person in the delivery of this program. But if any queries over the coming days, weeks and months around this program, please don't hesitate to contact me directly via the email on the opening slide, and I'll provide that again at the end. And details will be provided for in a follow-up email for those of you who have registered. Also, you're welcome to share this event afterwards. We'll be sharing the recording with colleagues or that may be interested in the program. And after a few slides, maybe take 20 minutes of your time, I'm more than happy to discuss and clarify anything that you might want addressed in relation to your interests around this program, or indeed other programs that we offer in Trinity and the options available to you. So just kind of first and foremost, I maybe contextualize what we're going to kind of cover in this little brief overview of the program, but also contextualize it in how it sits within our school in professional diplomas or postgraduate diplomas. We have a long-running set of our portfolio of postgrad diplomas that we've offered for many years, and this is one of the newer offerings that we have, more progressive topic, obviously, in climate action. So let's just kind of contextualize this program. Also going to introduce the program itself. What exactly would you need to know in terms of making the decision if you want to apply, and what's expected of you in terms of course content and what you have to do to be assessed. The learning experience. This is predominantly an online course. There's a lot of online engagement away from the traditional in lecture theatres, although we do offer occasional sessions in person, but it also changes the way you may approach your the way you have to engage with the material, the forums, but we go through that as the year goes on, and there's good systems in place to support that. And then I suppose life after the course, just to maybe acknowledge what the previous graduates from the program have taken from the course and what they're doing with it beyond the program. So as I mentioned, this is one of a range of postgrad diplomas that we've run in Trinity College. In specifically this week, I'm talking engineering for climate action. This time next week, my colleague, Professor Sarah McCormick, is discussing her Sustainable Energy and the Environment postgrad diploma, in which these two programs have a small overlap in complementarity around dealing with the energy side of things. We do have a range of programs, and really the origins of our historical programs are around professional development. But the benefits of these courses is not just professional development, but you're getting a formal level 9 qualification. We're currently, all the programs are recognised by Engineers Ireland, but we're going through the process of looking for accreditation in the next cycle, which happens in the next 2 years. And then that's a retrospective accreditation of a program, because you have to wait on a 5-year cycle. So these programs, especially the Engineering for Climate Action, we would be looking at it being an accredited program officially in 2 years, but it would apply to retrospective graduates who would have taken the course. So given that engineering is in the title, but not necessarily an engineer is coming into this course, I suppose to position why this course has engineering for climate action, I suppose reflecting upon what engineering practice is. It's to improve, sustain and restore the environment. Even though this is a multidisciplinary program, the lens is engineering, how engineers approach the challenges of climate action. But it takes a multidisciplinary group of professionals to deliver. And therefore, we expect applicants not just to be engineers, but to be in a working environment with engineers and to be able to interact. This program offers that sort of understanding of how engineering works. It's not necessarily in-depth structural design, more traditional civil engineering or structural engineering type topics, but it is important that working with the profession in terms of how the engineering profession deals with social, environmental, and economic aspects. This is why this program exists, to provide that kind of bridge between engineering and other professions addressing climate action. But considering that this definition of the role of an engineer is very much about sustaining and restoring the environment, the program tries to look at how climate action addresses this in terms of energy, in terms of resources, across different sectors like transport, buildings and industry, with a range of case studies and talks and topics that align with these areas. So I suppose, first of all, what's the ambition? This is a relatively new course. Why did we define and develop this course? Well, really, it was to provide a program to support professionals like yourselves in developing and applying new knowledge in engineering for climate action. We wanted, given we've come through the period of COVID, we wanted to deliver an accessible learning experience through online and blended learning that kind of meets the needs of you as busy working professionals in many cases. A lot of our graduates, a lot of our students currently taking the program are working professionals, and they need flexibility. And our ambition was to take you on a journey as a student of this program to undertake academic work, but also produce professional outputs. So it's not just about doing coursework for a program, but it's also producing outputs that are a benefit to your employer as well as yourself. And I'll briefly mention one of those towards the end, of how a past graduate has used the outputs from this course to influence their organization and develop guidance and strategies to support them in terms of climate action. So what is your journey? If you're interested in this program, really what we're looking to take you through is if you want to either take up a more dominant role around sustainability and climate action and want the knowledge, or perhaps you want to transition into such a role. And really, if that's either of those are the case, then this is the course for you. We want to advance your skills in that space. And really, this could be an engineering program solely, but really dealing with climate action is a multidisciplinary challenge. Therefore, the program has this core or lens of engineering, but we have incorporated business and psychology inputs, addressing the potential commercial opportunities that lie within climate action, but also understanding the human dimension in terms of how we engage with stakeholders to ensure that climate action can be addressed effectively, whether bottom up or top down. We also recognize that your journey may have to be balanced with work and life, and therefore offering this now as a 1-year full-time or a 2-year part-time program gives you an opportunity to decide what aligns with your schedule and your needs. So just to kind of give you an overview, as I mentioned, this is a full-time or a part-time program, but to give you an insight of what to expect at a full-time level, but then we can discuss maybe later that the part-time option gives more flexibility. So really the program is outside work hours. A lot of our programs have always existed on a Friday evening and Saturday morning, but that's because most of those programs traditionally were in person. I recognize that we now are delivering a hugely online program. So to provide flexibility and to give weekends back in many ways, we offer a lot of our engagement activities on weekday evenings, always outside work hours. So you can expect on a full-time program, maybe 2 to 3, maximum 3 sessions per week, but in many cases, even just only 1. What that entails is some coursework where you might have to read something or view a recording in advance of a discussion session. So some of these time periods allocated are simply coming along and discussing the topic at hand and preparing you for coursework. Others are lectures in terms of expert speakers from academia and professional backgrounds, giving their context and examples and case studies of specific topics in addressing climate action. So if you are considering that works for you, the full-time or part-time is optional as to how many hours you could possibly dedicate to participation, because that is key. What is required though of an entry is a honours degree, a level 8, from a STEM, architecture or cognitive discipline. You don't just have to be an engineer, given that it's in a title, but we are looking for people that might be working with engineers or engaging with the public or private sector in addressing climate action. If you're from a STEM background, you'll find that the content is very much accessible to you. And indeed, we do have others interested from other disciplines. And really, it's about having a conversation with me and my colleague Julie one-to-one to kind of figure out how it works for you. In some cases, there can be exceptions made for those who have worked for a number of years and may not have that level 8 or that honours, where your work experience can give you that step up. And therefore, that's something that you're welcome to discuss with me offline. The application deadline is not until the 31st of July, but we recognise summer is when we always push things back. So if you are interested, even just to engage with myself will allow us to work through the documentation that you require to meet that deadline. So what exactly is delivered within the programme? A very brief overview of the different modules and how it's split, whether you take a full-time or a part-time pathway. So if you were to choose a full-time full diploma in 1 year, then you have to take 7 different modules over the 2 semesters. Some are dedicated within 1 semester, some are split over 2 semesters. And the engagement process varies within different modules, but in the majority of cases, they are online, with 1 or 2 having a blended option, whereby you can come to occasional in-person lectures, but also have that flexibility to join online as well. There's benefits to that in that you get to know the people in your group, your class. So that's why we try to offer a small element of blended still to give you that flexibility, but flexibility is key. But part-time, it might also be an offering for you. And that's where you take it over 2 years. And in the first year, you complete a postgrad certificate, and subsequently you complete the postgrad diploma. This is how essentially the program is split over 2 years, with 5 of the 7 modules taking place in the first year and the subsequent 2. You may think that that seems like there's an imbalance, but really the level of contact and the level of hours are pretty split between the 2 years based on that. If anything, the first year may seem like it is more challenging, but that's because it provides the foundation for year 2 when you undertake a climate action project, and also allows you to develop a project that takes the learnings of year 1 in terms of its application. And that's the value as well of having that part-time pathway. You have more time to appreciate the opportunities that a climate action project might have for you and for the organization you're working with if you are currently in employment. So very briefly, just to run through the modules and what entails within each module. First of all, the introduction module. It's a module in over the 2 semesters where we talk about climate action plans, sustainable development goals, and key local, national, and global challenges and strategies that are addressing climate action. You begin to appreciate that there's a human dimension. So in parallel to sustainable green organizations that I'll mention in a moment, there's a role for stakeholder engagement, whether it's top-down or bottom-up initiatives. And then also looking at how to measure and assess and look at the performance of a climate action plan. This supports you in your development of a plan or a roadmap in the future. How we assess it is through a range of different types of coursework, whether it's brief reports, or oral presentations, or even just participating in a brief discussion forum to engage with us as part of our discussions. And our 2 semester 1 modules that are available in the part-time pathway in year 1, but then as part of the broader program is Sustainable Green Organization, delivered by the School of Psychology, and Entrepreneurship for Climate Action, delivered by the School of Business or Trinity Business School. This is to address the socio-technical aspects and the entrepreneurial opportunities that lie between these programs. Essentially, it gives you a critical view of a sustainability initiative. That's the coursework that you work towards in Sustainable Green Organization. And then developing a business plan around a climate action initiative or an opportunity is what Entrepreneurship for Climate Action entails. There's lots of business opportunities within climate action, and therefore it's important to delve into those opportunities. And perhaps it could kickstart new initiatives, and Trinity have an excellent facility to support such initiatives. In semester 2, if you're taking that part-time pathway, we want to also explore the key challenges that climate action is going to have a battle with in terms of delivering low carbon opportunities. And that's working with the limited resources that we have in the world. So to deliver adaptation and mitigation measures that are addressed in Engineering for the Environment module, we have to appreciate that there is a finite quantity of resources that we have to deliver these solutions. And that's addressed through life cycle assessment for engineering practice, a module that looks at different approaches to life cycle and also the circular economy. Through these modules, you undertake coursework in relation to actually undertaking a life cycle assessment, which is an expanded carbon footprint, if you will, where we look at other environmental impacts. And that could be something that is being addressed in the climate mitigation, climate adaptation in the parallel module. Basically, we want you to appreciate the challenges that around using valuable resources to deliver climate action measures. 2 modules further take you in the full journey to the diploma. These are taken in year 2 if you are taking the part-time option, but as part of the integrated program otherwise. And essentially, mitigation and adaptation, this is taking it further. This is your climate action project, if you will. You'll develop and define a project that supports an initiative of climate action. This might be developing a roadmap or appraising a roadmap, and or looking at a specific sector. It could be a broad national level strategy, critically appraising, looking at how things align or are misaligned. But essentially, you're applying the knowledge and skills from previously undertaken modules. The great opportunity that you have in this project is really to align with your organizational goals if you're in employment, and support your company, your public or private organization in addressing some of the challenges and the unknowns that they may have in terms of moving forward for sustainability and climate action. And then lastly, our last module is a dedicated taught module, which, unlike most of the others, is assessed with a mix of coursework and an exam. This is a module that brings in industrial experts and academic experts to look at energy in different contexts, in different sectors, and look at the demands, the supply, and then the challenges around economics, social, technical, political, and legislative aspects that present opportunities and challenges with addressing climate action. And this is the module that takes place over 2 semesters, as well as the project in year 2 of your part-time, or indeed as part of your full-time option. So I only have a few slides left, but really, what did we want to do, and what kind of learning experience would you expect? Well, through this program and its delivery, we're taking a very modern teaching and learning methods. We're applying modern teaching and learning methods, and that's to enhance your learning experience. Items like sharing your thoughts in a discussion forum and through discussion groups rather than a traditional lecture allows really valuable and in-depth discussions that look at the challenges that are across sectors between public and private sector, how we work in harmony, and how we consider dealing with climate action in the most effective manner. The blended approach, again, gives you that flexibility. If you're working in full-time, if you're not living in Dublin, to access online content, to review content in your own time, with live lectures taking place outside work hours and live discussions, really only there to enhance your learning experience. Our work is driven, our program is driven by research. So we're teaching not just about the current best practices, but introducing you to the future. What is coming from the research world that will support climate action into the future. We have peer-to-peer and problem-based learning, looking through case studies and different methodologies to engage with you in this online world. And then the interactive tools. We have a virtual learning environment here in Trinity that we use for online discussions, supporting live Q&A discussions, accessing forums, and sharing information with one another. And as always with our programs here in Trinity, we always make ourselves available to you to discuss the material and address issues as you go through the program. We recognize that if you're in employment, your schedule is busy, and balancing coursework with with your jobs can be quite challenging. So we're always wanting to stay in touch with you on a regular basis to ensure that deadlines are realistic and fair to meet your needs. Just maybe to address past graduates and what exactly they have taken from the program. Well, past graduates and current students represent individuals from both public and private sector, from multinational organizations, public authorities, to independent consultants who wish to upskill in this space. The coursework has been informed kind of to align with professional and organizational priorities. In the public sector, aligning with climate action plans or mandatory requirement. In the private sector, looking at how your company can become more sustainable, can be a visible leader in climate action, in the way you deliver projects, but also in the way you run as an organization. And just to give you an example of a past graduate in their achievements, a past student helped use his coursework, 4 or 5 different elements of his coursework, whether it was stakeholder engagement, evaluating things like the climate action plan, the sustainable development goals, and then also delivering his climate action project. This combined work presented the foundation for this organization's sustainability strategy to 2030. This allowed buy-in from top down, from directors, and also access the views and perspectives of peers at all levels through the organization to develop a strategy, a vision that this organization viewed as their pathway to the future. So our 2021-22 graduate produced content that provided the foundation to this program. Just some sort of feedback around what past graduates have thought. They've enjoyed the lectures, the resources and the engagement with us through tutorials or discussion forums. And I hope that if you consider this program, you can take away the same experience. Just to close, I suppose, life after this course. We developed this program in the knowledge and recognition that climate action leaders are needed within organizations. And to do so, we all need to advance our knowledge, to develop professional skills. And in some cases, for those of you not coming from an engineering area, you can also have that added value of attaining an engineering qualification in this space. We recognize, though, that it isn't just an engineering challenge that we face. There's a multidisciplinary challenge here, and that's why this program shares content with other disciplines. And if you want to start the journey, all you have to do is apply, and I hope to see some of you in September. So that concludes my presentation. I'd just like to thank you for giving your lunchtime this afternoon to hear about this course, what it entails, but what it offers to you in terms of your learnings, but also what you can take away in terms of the coursework adding value to what you do in a professional sense. Details of the program and how to apply can be accessed through www.tcd.ie/courses and postgraduate, and you can just search for Engineering for Climate Action. But my email address is here. If you wish to get in contact with me, I'm more than happy to discuss that with you on a one-to-one basis over the coming weeks and months. I thank you very much for joining this Friday lunchtime. As I said, my email is easily found, but it's j.gallagher@tcd.ie. So j.gallagher, J for John, .gallagher@tcd. You're more than welcome to reach out in terms of finding out more about the program or having a one-to-one to help you make decisions around this course. And this time next week, my colleague Sarah McCormick will have her session on sustainable energy in the environment, which is a sister program in our range of postgraduate diplomas. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Please do reach out to me if you have any further questions. And I really hope to see you in September as part of our 23-24 cohort in the postgrad diploma in Engineering for Climate Action. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day, and speak to you again soon.